Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Leeds Minster once more, and this is to be the third of my virtual reality organ recitals. It will be going out a week today, I believe, but I can't remember what the date is. Never mind. So today I'd like to play 4 shortish pieces for you. They're all composed by concert organists, although 2 of them were also church organists. The first is by David Sanger, a much admired concert organist, organ teacher and organ composer who sadly passed away in the year 2010, and he was only 63 years old. It's his Marche Européenne, and this isn't a political statement of any sort at all. It was actually composed in 1997, almost 20 years before the referendum came along. I think the title is just an indication of David's fascination with French organ music and the somewhat colourful harmonies that you can find there. It's in 3 sections. The first section is rather short and spiky, with detached left-hand chords and a rather, dare one say it, warlike melody over the top. Eventually the middle section comes along and is much more legato, and it's written in canon, with between the right hand and the pedals following obediently a bar later, if I get them right. That particular compositional style, the canon, was often used by Louis Vienne, so I think we have another fairly strong French connection there. And then towards the end the spiky stuff returns, and the penultimate chord is, anti-penultimate chord is actually really something quite else, assuming I can get it right. So that's the first piece. The second piece is a hymn prelude by Percy Whitlock. It's based on a tune of Orlando Gibbon's, Song 13, which is often sung to the words, "Jesu, grant me this, I pray." I'll say a little bit more about Whitlock later. That's followed by another quietish piece. This one's by George Thalben-Ball, and it's his tune in E, brackets, in the style of John Stanley, who was an 18th century English composer. Now, George Thalben-Ball was quite a fascinating chap. He was actually born in Australia in 1896, but his parents were Cornish, and they brought him back to England 4 years later. And once in England he studied at music college and so on, and eventually he succeeded Sir Henry Walford Davies as organist and director of music at the Chapel Royal. No, it wasn't. It was the Temple Church. Let's get it right. The Temple Church in London. And he ran the music there for well over 50 years. And he was still playing recitals well into his 80s. And in fact, as a young boy, I once had the opportunity to turn his pages at a church somewhere near Preston. And his virtuosity was really something quite else. Anyhow, this tune in E is what you'd call a lollipop, and maybe he composed it for his own use as encore material. So that's that one. And the final piece is one of Whitlock's hymn preludes, and it's based on the English traditional tune King's Lynn, as collected by Ralph Vaughan Williams, of course. And Whitlock himself, what a fascinating character he was. Sadly, he only lived to the age of 43, but in that time he published an enormous corpus of organ music, of choral music, and he was also skilled in writing for orchestra and indeed wind band. And he was a godsend really to the Oxford University Press, who pretty well as much as the ink had dried on one of Whitlock's compositions, they'd be knocking at his door saying, "Can we have your latest item?" And so Whitlock wrote one organ sonata, let's get this right, 2 fantasy chorales, 3 meditations, I'm getting stuck, 4, I've forgotten what 4 is, 5 short pieces, and 4 improvisations, got it, and 6 of something else. Oh, of these, the hymn preludes. Sorry, that's all a bit chaotic. I should have written these things down. Anyhow, King's Lynn is the most wonderful tune, and it's given the typical Whitlock Hollywood gala treatment. So that's it, really. Enjoy.